Alrighty, I want to start a bit of a new category in the Obfuscate or subcategory for Obfuscate. I haven't done much of this stuff, but I think it would be fruitful to talk about this. I'll call it like Obfuscate.log. But talking about, difficulties in programming and coding and just working through social problems, so to speak, right? Really not problems in your runtime, really not problems in your logic or anything like that, but problems working with projects, people, and stuff like that. It's not really to talk so much talk shit about my colleagues or coworkers, but really to talk about some of the issues that you'll run into and how I'm dealing with them, good or bad. And right now, I'm fucking frustrated. I told my trainer, I told him, I was like, man, I did not want to come and work out today just because it's just too much bullshit today. And I just didn't want to I just had to deal with a lot of crap with the project that I'm working on. And some of this stuff can be easily solved by having a clear picture and a vision. Having the right people in leadership when you're doing projects, having a right project manager and having that hierarchy and somebody to actually, go to and that will be there to solve problems. I've had people call it being a servant leader, servant leadership, meaning that your leader is a servant to you so that you can do your job, and by you doing your job, they're actually doing their job, right? Or so by being a servant to you so you can do your job and facilitate your growth and everything else, they're able to do their job or look good at their job, answer questions and things like that. The problem I'm running into is that we have a project that a hard decision has to be made. Pretty much we have the first iteration of the project. The project is working or limping along, but it was rushed. It accrued technical debt, and now it's time to pay said technical debt. The previous lead, who was my lead, he came into a shitstorm and there wasn't much there. And then he was pushed around pretty much and had to create pretty much a shitstorm as well. And he had to, I wouldn't say like shit code, but even he said, hey, listen, man, this was rushed. I pushed and pulled in a lot of different ways, and a lot of stuff was just get it in there and make it work. So already you're starting to see the mentality of, a person, or you're starting to see the mentality of leadership and how it affects a person that's actually developing and, pushing code and things like that. And by the end of it, he didn't want to be there anymore, and he just left. And he even said, like, you just kept it real with me, and I understood it. And then, I just laughed it off because I was just like, it is what it is. What can I do? And he was like, man, I'm not gonna lie, I fucked you. Just because of the code that he left behind, and he knew it was incomplete. I would have a problem with it, and I would have to deal with it. And pretty much I've been spending the last 3 weeks or so dealing with that, and really has annoyed the living crap out of me. Has thrown me off my game, and what also has done is caused me to create blockers or become a blocker for myself. So instead of a person that's optimistic, always enthusiastic about figuring out and solving a problem, I get in my own way, and I'm like, well, we can't solve this. Well, I can't do this. Well, this is a problem. So on and so forth, right? Like, it's just a pessimism, like, really can kill your code, and kill your overall flow. And I've noticed it, and I know myself enough, or I'm real enough with myself to say, man, I am mad, and I do not like this, and it's bullshit. Another reason why I'm doing this video. So, had another guy on the team who I really look up to. He's a little bit younger than me, but listen, wise beyond his years in terms of coding and everything else like that. He put together a whole slide deck and broke down the project of what it needs to be, like what it needs to get to and how it needs to be fixed and so on and so forth. And I actually felt really good about that because it's like, okay, we have somebody that has what seems to be a clear plan and clearly pointing out the issues, but also the stuff he said I already knew and thought about. So when he said it, I just listened, and I said, listen, I only have one pushback, and this is kind of the frustration. I only have one pushback. You want to change from Node.js or like Node.js, which is JavaScript based, to C#.net or ASP.net. And I'm like, I'm not going to lie, bro, that's a heavy lift. I have no experience with any of those languages. And along with the experience with those languages, the nuances, the tooling in terms of interpreters and how you build code, how you run code, what is expected, and all this other stuff. I'm like, I'm biased. I don't know how, to get modules and packages and put all that stuff together. I mean, you're asking for a heavy lift that's going to sidetrack me and even this project for the next couple weeks, even with your help. And it's going to be to the point where you're just going to write the code. Like, you're going to have to write it. And I even told him, I was like, listen, to be honest, if this is the case, I'm going through different processes here and interviewing and all this other stuff. If this is the case, I have to change the job description, and then also have to possibly change the job description and do even more work to try and get this thing going, when all we needed to do is just have a clear plan and put it all together. But what happens? You get caught up in a whole bunch of BS because people want to make changes. People are having all types of issues and, improper management, and project management. So I'm frustrated because now you want to change you want to change the entire language. And even if, the thing is, at the end of the day, language is, it's just a language. At the end of the day, the most important thing is logic. You still have if statements, for loops, and how certain things work, and how can you wait? Is it synchronous, asynchronous, and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. That stuff you can get past. But what you can't get past, or what makes it harder to get past it, is poor management. If we have this, we need to stick to it. And if we're going to stick to it, then we need to make sure that nobody, we enforce the things that we're putting in place. And that's kind of like one of the big things about, what I'm going through with all of this, is that if a person can't stick to these, stick to what's necessary, or stick to the things that are put in place, then we're going to have serious issues. So my thing, to be creative about it, is I'm going to put my pride and ego aside and my frustrations, which are valid, and I'm going to try and be open-minded about this. I'm going to make my own suggestions in terms of how we need to do it, because I think we need to go back even further in terms of how we build, how we deploy, and also how we test. So build, test, deploy. We need to go back on all of that and make serious changes. And I need to do my best to try and stay open. Otherwise, I also need to be truthful and say, hey, I'm not the man for this project. This project has gone out of the scope of my core competencies, and I can no longer do it. I am pretty much having to step into the lead role because I can't find, people that are actually living up to their own resume, which is really sad. And then if they do, they always find some way to kind of screw it up in the interview, which is crazy. Or they don't accept your offer, which is, I guess, normal. So I'm having these hard conversations with people in management and things like that. And I have a decision I have to make as well. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to go through right now to try and actually clean up a very big mess that has been made, not by my predecessor, not just by my predecessor, because I really don't want to put it on him, not because because I like him too, he's a cool dude, but really by poor management of a project. All right, it's the first one of this whole series, and yeah, hopefully it's helpful. With that being said, appreciate you all. Peace.